First thing I tried with the not with the Maven project, but I
Mm-hmm.
tried with the JDK file. Okay,
Okay.
I tried to download the Selenium and I have a Chrome driver as well. Based on
Mm-hmm.
my configuration of the Chrome, I tried to install, but after
Okay.
that, I'm not able to remember that code which you have written over there.
Okay. 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 No issue. We will look into it. So, Archana, you want to continue with the looping first, or shall we just look into the code first? What you suggest?
Yes, we will look into the code initially. If we can help it out, then it will be good.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yeah, definitely. So, I think please provide the share rights to Abdul so that he can share his screen.
Oh,
Yes, done.
Archana, actually, I'm connecting from my mobile. Actually, I'm getting some
Oh, okay,
issues.
okay, okay,
Internet, I'm
okay.
getting some internet issues.
No problem. Then we'll look into this code later on.
Sure,
Oh,
sure.
okay. So I'll make. Okay. First of all, what I would like to tell you is today we will be going through some variables, loops, what kind of loops we have, why do we need to use loops, and what
Mhm.
is array, what is array list. Arrays and array list are two different. How different they are? Why is it required to use array list, and why is it required to use array? And what are the methods we use in the Java, and how do we utilize the methods in the Java? Why do we need to write methods? These all things is something which we are going to discuss today. So, firstly, I would like to tell you about some in general concept. Like you might have understand in general also when we talk in English, if this condition happens, then probably this is the consequence of it. This is how we use it, right, Abdul? Like if there is something, let us assume there is a manager talking to a resource. What he will say, if you are accomplishing these targets, whatever I have mentioned in the list, if you are completing this certification and doing on time job and doing deliverables on time, then if these things, then you will be getting promotion. This is how the discussions will be happening, that based upon something you will get something. So in general, we will have that kind of terminology in computer language also, that Java also uses it. If something happens, then the consequence will be there in the logic. If that is not happening, then it goes to the else part. So I'll quickly tell you couple of logics how we will use it, and so you'll get some idea. I'll share my screen. I hope you are seeing my screen, correct?
Yes, it's visible
Okay,
now.
yeah, thank you. So here, let us assume I gave you a real time example. Now, programmatically, I will give you some basic logic where A is equals to 2, B is equals to 3, A plus B is equals to 5. Okay. Now, what I would like to tell is there is an input which you are getting A as 2 and B as 3. Either you are writing by yourself, or by dynamically in the program you are giving value as 2 to A, 3 to B. How you will give these all things, you will learn it gradually. But currently you assume that A is having 2 value, B is having 3 value. When you add it, you are getting 5. So a simple logic what I want to write is, if this the addition is giving me the odd number, then I will print it as an odd. If other than odd, what we'll have, it will be even only, right? There is no other things. We don't have a couple more than even and odd. If not even, then it will be odd. If not odd, if then it will be even. In that case, we will go with if condition. If if A plus B equals to 5, then system dot print dot, then system dot print. print line, we will write as uh, addition, okay, odd number. Okay, and this is a semicolon, and if this happened, then this is what I'm going to print. Else system dot println even number. If there is no other condition, if there are only two conditions, then we most likely use if else. If there are more than else, if we are having something else, if else, we can have multiple if else, we can have just if else. We, okay, let me tell you another thing. We have if else, we have nested if else also, like if else, like this also. So based upon the condition, if if your target is having in this, if your target is satisfying in this condition, then it will not move to this, it will not move to this. Okay, if your condition is if not getting satisfied here, then it get moved here. If it is satisfied here, then it will not move here. If it is also not satisfying, then directly it will go here and print the output. This is how it works. So here, if the condition is satisfied, then it will not go to else. If it is not satisfied, then it directly prints the statement whatever there is in the else. This is how if else works. So in my condition, there are two conditions, whether even or odd, where I need not require if else. But just in case, if I want to write some logic, for suppose I am telling if a is equals to 5, then system.println something. If else a is equals to 4, then this. Else, then this. So what I want to write here is, if a is equals to 5, system.println a is equals to 5. The same thing, whichever a is having, I want to write. If else, if not a is 5, if a is 4, then I'll write system.println a is having value as 4. Else, write a is neither having 5 nor 4. This is what I want to write in the else. So the concept here, what I want to tell you is, if you are knowing, if you exactly know what you are getting and what you want, then based upon that you can write how many ever if else you need. But most likely we use not too many if else. Nested if else are used very less, but yes, but there are some possibility that you can write. For that instance, I am making sure that you can go with nested if else or if else. Any questions so far, Abdul?
Nested if else in like nested conditions you're talking about, right? It's both one and the same
If
nested condition.
nested in the sense, it is it is not ending directly by checking one condition, it is coming to another if, which is nested, one inside the other, if inside another if. This if inside another if is called as a nested
Okay,
one.
so we can we call it as loop as well?
Yes, yes. Loop, I don't think so, because loop is something which is iterating, going one after the other. It is in a
Right,
continuous
right.
process. Okay,
Unless
but
until the
here,
condition satisfied.
exactly. But here it is not going. See, if a is not equal to 5, suppose if a is equals to 5, then it is skipping this and it is coming this. And again, is it going back here?
No, no,
No,
no.
right? No. Then it is not called as a loop. If it is again going back, checking condition, again coming here and checking condition and again going back and again until some iterations, if it is doing, if it is iteration, that means repeating, then only it is called as loop. Else it is not called. This is called as a conditional based testing. This is based upon some conditions. We are testing and we are producing whatever the output we have to do it. This is conditional based check. This we called as a conditional based check. Whereas for loop, if you are coming to for loop, that is called as a iteration. So far if else
Okay,
is
okay.
something you are clear, right?
Yeah, got it. So multiple conditions if we have, and we know the output exactly what it is gonna have, then we can use in
See,
this in that
now
scenario.
in my situation, either A will have 5 or A will have 4. But just in case I have A is equals to 3, then what should happen? It should write it is A is neither having 5 nor 4. This is what the output I'll provide, right?
Right,
Based
got
upon
it.
the logic, requirement, based upon the requirement. But when do you need it is something you have to analyze it. Once you get through these logics, then you will by yourself think of like do you really require if else, or if else else, or for loop. These are all things you will get to know by yourself, but initially you should understand the difference between these two things. Okay.
Got it, yeah.
Okay, next thing is we are coming to, as I told, we are going to discuss about the Java variables. Now in my previous condition, I wrote A is equals to 5, B is equals to 4. As I discussed in the first class, these are called as variables. Now can you tell me, Abdul, do you remember what is variable? Either A is variable or 5 is variable.
A is a variable. Variables are like a containers, right?
Right. So variables are nothing but it contains a value, and this is a value which is going and sitting inside the A. So A will have a data type. As I discussed, we will have a couple of data types: int, long, float, double, string, character. These are all things comes as a data types. These are called data types. That means these needs to be stored somewhere. So, why do we need to have these all things is in our programmatical thing, we will have a memory occupied for each and every variables. So, for us to understand, for I mean to say, it is not for us to understand. In order to understand for the compiler, the programmatically, if it has to understand every value given to the variable will be converted into bits, that is zeros and ones. In order to compile this whatever human readable language into machine readable language, the whole input will be converted into machine readable language first. It interprets and then gives you the output based upon the conversions it does. So now I say A plus B is equals to 5 plus 4. So this 5 plus 4 will be converted into bits, and if you remember, we used to learn in our school the decimal things, right? Like 0, 1, 2, 1, and then we used to carry forward and we used to get some values here, no? Do you
Right.
remember this kind of things?
Yeah,
So
yeah, remember.
that is what it happens here. Machine readable language will convert every human readable numbers into machine readable, and then it will do that decimal numbers. These bits will be added to each other. For that it needs some memory, and this memory will be allocated by these data types. So if I am giving this integer as data types, it will allocate 4 bytes. 4 bytes in the sense you can convert 8 bits into 1 byte. Likewise, these 4 8s are 32. That means 32 bits it will give you as a memory here. So this is very important that if it is required to take integer, you should go with integer. Long will have 8 bytes. Uh, Rakesh, am I correct? Because this is how it will be in C sharp and Java. But just in case if
Yes,
I'm
yes, correct, correct, Archana, you are right.
so long is something which is taking more than int, that is 8 bytes. So if your program is having unnecessarily data type as a long instead of int, so you are using an extra memory, by which what happens is your processing will get slow. It is not just because of the data types it gets slow, but these are the things which we have to consider while doing coding. And majorly this is very much important for the developers than for the automation testers, but having idea on this will be always a safer side. This is the best practice. You understand, Abdul, or any confusion?
Uh, got it, but just long is
Okay,
also like used for integers only, right?
right. I will give you a quick example. Instead of going this, I'll make you go through the any of the sites wherever you go. See, I'll help you.
Hmm.
Now, uh, let us go to Java point. Okay. So if I go to here, you can also browse. This all will help you give additional knowledge. So that Java data types in Java. What is it showing? Why is it coming like this? Let me go to Google. Data types in Java.
Archana, just share long data type in Java. You will get some more options.
Yes, yes. No, why I want to
Okay, yeah.
see.
Here you got it. Right, right.
So int is having 4 bytes, long is having 8 bytes, and I want to show him the exact. Uh, See, this is what I want to show. Array. So here the int data type is 32-bit. As I told, 4 bytes into 8 is 32. When you convert into a bits, 8 bits. You know this calculation, right, Abdul? If not, I'll tell
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
because this is important. Yes. So that 8 bytes, that 4 bytes, if it you are multiplying with 8 bits, then it is 32 bit. So the value range lies between, see this, 2 to the power of 31. So you can accept values range from this to this 648, between this to these values. If you are, so this much of values integer can accept. If your value is beyond this, if the entered number into the variable is beyond this, then it will throw an error, because this is the maximum value it can hold. If you are giving more than this, see, you have to go to the long data type. Long data type can accept from this range to this range. So you see the difference, right? The size of the number is increased. That means the memory, how much ever this number should hold, based upon that you should take the data type. If it is too big, if it is a too huge number, then you should go with the long data type. If it is a range just between this, then you have to go with the int data type. As I told, if you are having decimals, then you should go with the float. Decimals can be taken in the float, like 0.0f, and you should be declared as a number should be having at the end as f. So that means you are describing that while initializing at the beginning only, that you are having this number as a float. Any confusion? This is all the textbook knowledge, but uh, th- why I am telling this much, you have to know. See, additional things you need not know, but if I show you the difference, then you will remember forever that okay, this is the numbering, this is the size of the number, which if int is having this, then you have to go with this. If it is too huge than this, if it is going across, if it is even crossing one or two numbers, then you have to take long. Just by seeing this you will know. So this is this much of energy is sufficient for you. Hence I have make you understand. Okay, any
And
confusion?
Abdul, like mostly you need to use the int, float, and the string. Like most of the whenever you start working on the live project, mostly in integer, float, and string will be in use. Yeah, sometimes we are using long and if, double and all these things. But yeah,
Right.
mostly we are, yeah, and also this char also we are using.
Char is also important.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
char is
better
also important.
understand today int, float, string, char. So string will take words. Character will take only alphabets. Float will take decimals. This is the format of writing. Int will take integers. Okay, clear?
Got clarity about int, float, string, and just a bit of explanation on char.
Okay. Char will accept only alphabets. Let us assume there is something which you have to verify. That means if character is equals to A, you cannot write okay, I'll tell you something. Now, character in the sense it is pointing to single letter alphabet. It cannot take the whole word. This individual is called character. So when you are declaring something as a character, you can give only single letter. It will not accept string. If you give this string, then it will throw an error. This is the size. So if I go here, you will understand. The char data type is 16-bit and the char data is stored in characters. So ASCII, do you have any
A simple
example?
example, Abdul, like if anyone can ask you, your name must start with which character? So definitely you
So
will
see,
answer A.
yeah. So when you declare anything as a character, it will take only alphabet. See, here also it is mentioned. If you want to give any condition based upon the character, okay, I'll give you one more example. This is a program, actually program which they will ask even in interviews also. So understanding these things is always important. Now there is a letter. Okay, I'll tell. Okay. Now if you reverse this, what will happen? If you write from last to first, then also it is same, right? Pro- then such kinds of words are called palindromes. Palindrome number, palindrome word. Number can also be a palindrome, just in case 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Then if I reverse, then it will be 1, 2, 3, 2, 1 only. So anything which is when you are reversing also getting into the same number, then that is a called palindrome. So when you have to write this palindrome, what happens is you have to take each letter from this and reverse. In that case, you will accept this whole word as a string into the string input. I will say input is a variable name here. What I am giving? Literal. But in order to move this in order to move this alphabet by alphabet, I will internally after input string, I will declare one more thing as a character. Ch input. Character input is my variable name. By taking from this string, I will I will have one by one stored in this, and using some loops I will put this word whatever letter whatever there is in the character into the another string, and I'll compare this at the end. So for this kind of program or logic, you need a single letter from the word. There we need a use of this character. You got me? I tried my best to understand the real time scenario.
Yeah, got it
To
to some extent, but while writing the code, I will be understanding better.
Yes, when you practice it, you will definitely know. At now, presently, it will not take the word. It will take only letters from the word. And how do you might think, how can it take? So now this will help you after Rakesh telling what is array. String will also store in the similar fashion. So now you will come and you will understand once the arrays are completed. We will quickly make you glance walk through how the string will be storing internally and how you are taking that one by one into the character. Probably you will get understanding on that. Now coming to for loop. Okay, for is an iteration. This is called a loop. If is conditional statement, whereas for we call it as a loop. Why? Because it iterates until our requirement is solved, our requirement is got fulfilled. For suppose I am having 1, I want to print some numbers until 5 from starting 1 to 5. So for that, what I will do is, for I will declare in data type inside this. This is a syntax for int I is a variable is equals to 1, I less than 5, or if it is 0, then it is less than 5. I plus plus. This is semicolon I plus plus. So initially, what you are giving is, in this statement you are telling how many ever times I has to repeat. You are telling I has to repeat for 5 times. So from starting 0 less than 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I am writing 5, then this will not satisfy this condition. So I am asking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So from 0 to 4 it is 5 times. If I am writing I as 1, then it should be 6. Got you? Less than 6. Okay. Now, what I'm doing is, from 0 to 5, or 1 to 6. Okay, let me do one thing. From 1 to 6, if I'm writing, then that means we are looping for 5 times. What? Okay, I'll go back to here. From 1 to 6, then 5 times. So what I'm doing here, system.println system.println I. Just I'm giving I, nothing else. So what it does, I is having currently 1. So it will print 1. And what it after printing 1, we have nothing in this braces. In this braces, we have only this line. Printing it has to do. After printing, it will come back again here. And it will check whether my 1, and after printing, what it happens. Okay, the sequence how it flows is, I will first initialize, then increment, then checks the condition. This is the flow. This is the process it does. First I will take 1, it will print 1, and after printing 1 it increments. Now I becomes 2. It will check whether I is still less than 6. Yes. Then it enters the loop and prints I plus plus, which is already 2. Now after incrementing, after checking, it prints, and then comes again. Then again it increments. I is equals to 3. Again it checks whether it is less than 6. Likewise, it will display until 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when it becomes 6, this condition will fail, and it will not enter into this loop anymore. Now we will have the whatever you have in your output. So your program works in a loop based upon until it satisfy the condition. I think you
Got
already
it.
know about for loop. Just in
Uh,
case if you have any questions, let me know.
no, 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 I'm clear.
Okay. So now coming back to this thing, I will quickly tell you one more thing, that on the day when we discussed about the data types, I told about class and objects and methods. If you remember, on the first day I have introduced all these things.
Right, remember.
Remember, right? So now yesterday Rakesh has shown you how to launch the browser and on different Chrome, Edge, and all these things, no? So in right, while doing all these things, if you have observed it carefully, then you have written everything inside the class. Without class, you will not do anything. Inside the class only, you will write. See, this is how it will be. Class name, and open parenthesis, close parenthesis. That means if I am writing class add is my class name. Now I will write int a is equals to 3, b is equals to 4, semicolon. Inside class only, I will declare variables, and public void add method addition, let us say addition, close braces. then open braces, close braces, and finally this class braces will be closing here. That means class will have variables, methods. This also we have discussed about the public, void, and addition. If anything is followed by parenthesis is called as a method name.
Yeah, Archana, yeah, I remember, yeah.
Okay. So, how do we call this class and everything? Probably it is very easy for you to understand on the Eclipse. So currently, we will take up arrays, array list, and we will show this over the Eclipse in the class file. Is it fine, Rakesh? It is better to show this on the Eclipse so that,
Yes, yeah, 100% better.
yeah,
So
so
you
I will
just
hand.
give me the access, yeah.
Sure, sure. Yeah, thank you. Mm,
Okay, is it visible?
yes.
Okay. So let me start with the for loop first. Okay. And then we will move to the array and array list. So suppose Abdul, if you want to print the number between 1 to 10, so how we can do that? That is the first question. So example like I need to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So for that, we will write a simple for loop or so firstly we need to initialize the variable. So I'm just giving because here I am talking about the integers. So that's the reason this data type I'm declaring as a integer I equal to 0. Why I'm starting from 0, that also I will explain. And then so this is my first condition where I am starting with the 0. So when the value of I is 0, it will start with I equal to 0, and then we are just giving the condition I is less than 10. So basically it will check the condition that it will print the value till I is less than 10, and in last we are incrementing the I value I plus plus. So if I am writing I plus plus, it means it is incrementing by 1. If I am writing I minus minus, that also I will explain you after this. So better let's go with the plus plus first. So I plus plus. Now I just start with the curly braces inside this for loop. Okay. Now, what I want to print the number from 1 to 10. So, for printing anything in a console, we have a command system dot out dot println. Okay? And I will give you one shortcut for writing this system dot out dot println in console. So, instead of writing every time these long words, so if you write SYSO and then control a space, it will give you the smart identification. So here you can see that when I am double clicking, it's already taking the whole integers. Okay, so now my task is to print the value of I. So if I enter inside it I, okay, so now you need to understand how it's iterating this for loop. So first time I value is 0, so it will print 0, and after that it will increment by 1. So now the value of I become 1, and it's checking the condition is I less than 10. Here I is always less than 10, so here we need to write I less than, not less than. If I is greater than 10 or 9, we can 10, we can say that if I is greater than 10, then it will break. No, but here I is less than 10, so it will go with the second loop. Now I equal to 1, so it will print 1. Again it will add 1 and check the condition. So in this way it will check the condition for the 10 times. Okay, but here I want to print the value from 1 to 10. So but here what we are getting, we are getting the number from 0 to 10, because first time we have initialized the I value as 0. So if we can give 1, it will start with the 1, right? Let me explain you the on the both ways. So I am starting with the 0 and then I am trying to run this line of code. I'm just commenting the yesterday code. Right click, run as Java application. Okay, it's taking some time because I started first time today. What happened? Terminated. Why it's got terminated? Oh, sorry. Here I have written wrong thing. I need to check I is less than 10 only. That's fine. Because if I am checking I is greater than 10, so now the value of I is 0. It will break the loop for the first time only. So now if you can see that it's printed from 0 to 9. Why till 9? Because here I am saying if I is less than 10, so when I is equal to 9, that's fine, it will print till 9. Now if when the value of I become 10, so 10 is less than 10, no, so on that case it will break and go out from the for loop. So that is the reason. So our condition should be if I is equal to 1 and then I is less than 11, now it will print the values between 1 to 10. Clear or any doubt on this for loop?
Yeah, to the addition part, it is clear, but what about if we have subtraction or multiplication or any other thing to do with that?
Okay, so let's think like you need to print a number from 10 to 1. So how you can do that? Any idea? Anything
Minus,
you can?
I minus.
So but if okay, so if I am giving I minus minus, that's fine. But it will start from 1. So it will go on the negative values. If you can see that,
So
and this
I
for
should
loop
be
is
10,
infinite. So what
I
we will
should be
do, we
10
will
and
start. Yes. And what is this condition?
0
Okay. So let me try to run this.
greater than 0.
Yes. So that is the reason it's not printing. Now let me check this. So here you can see that it's printing on the reverse way. Okay. So this is the concept of I plus plus and I minus minus. Now you want to be anything on the addition side, right? So addition we will come after this for loop. So suppose what we want, like when we start with the 10 to 1, so there is one more condition that if I value is equal to 5, then it will exit the for loop. So is it possible how we can do that? So like instead of printing or running this for loop for 10 times, what I want, once the I value become 5, it will terminate at the same time. Okay. So so for that, uh, here we need to add one if condition. If I is equal to 5, then so what happened? Syntax error. Go to work, change to I. Why this if condition is not working? Type mismatch cannot convert from int to boolean. Okay, it's integer. Okay, integer and it's being boolean. Let me check this if condition once. For example, if I am writing I equal to 5 and what happened? I am a little bit confused with this if condition. Work. Work or not. Constant true. Public static final true and string A. It's not working. I don't know. I am having some issue with my clips. I need to clean up. Okay, I will tell you this if condition. Okay, let me think how we can show you this. Okay, anyway, I will come back to this int condition. Sorry, if condition in some time. So now you want anything to be added. So what I will do. So here what I'm doing, I'm creating one more class. Why I'm creating one more class, that you will understand very soon. So here in the source, if I go on the default package, here I'm creating one new class and I'm just giving name as mathematics. Okay, and here if you can notice that I'm not taking this public static void main and clicking on the finish button. Okay, now I want to create one method, public method addition of method. I am writing public void, I have to write public void addition. Now here I am declaring the two integers, int a equal to 5 and int b equal to 10. And I want to print the addition of integer a and b. So I am just declaring one more integer, sum equal to a plus b. Okay. So now after doing that, I want to print sum, because sum contains the addition of a and b, right? But is it possible that we can execute this line of code here? No, we cannot execute this line of code here because we don't have any main method. So if you see, our main method is written inside this Selenium practice, if you can see that. And as I explained earlier, yesterday in yesterday's session, that whatever code you will write, it will always execute inside the main method. So now the question is how we can call this method to this Selenium practice class. So for that, there is a one some line of code you need to remember, because these line of code are always in use. So here we have a mathematics. So here we need to initialize the class, that this class we need to call on the Selenium practice. For that, what we need to write, so here we will write mathematics, and then I am just declaring one variable for this mathematics, m equal to new mathematics. So now, so if you can think little bit here. So here I am calling the class name, and inside this class name we have one method called addition. So we call this mathematics class but it might be possible this class will contains multiple methods. For example, we created one method for addition, now I am creating one method for subtraction. So how this system is going to understand that we have two methods, so which method we are calling here? So for that, so if you can see that we declare one variable here. So using this m, and then you can press dot, you will see all the methods present inside this mathematics class. So currently we have two methods. One is addition and subtraction. So both are displaying here. And why it's showing mathematics here? Because it's belong to the mathematics class. Okay, and these are of from different class. So that's the reason it's showing object. So these are from the object class. So whatever method you are calling in this way, it will display with the class name as well. So now here I want to perform the addition, so I'm just double clicking it. And so now just you need to understand this how it will going to execute. So here it will call the m dot addition. So this line of code goes to this class and then it will perform all these activities. Okay, so let me try to run this. We have passed to number 5 and 10, so the answer should be 15. So it should print 15. Here you can see that. Abdul, is it clear to you how we are calling the methods?
Yes, Rakesh, it is clear. So our method is in mathematics dot
Yeah,
JavaScript, right?
our method is in some different class and we are executing in some different class.
Okay, got it. Got it.
So, okay, and this is one way for calling one method from the other class. But what will be happen if I can write the method in the same class after this? So, for example, I'm just giving one more example. Let me copy this. I am creating one method inside this Selenium practice, so outside this main method. So whatever method we will create, it should always be outside the main method, because you cannot create another method inside the one method. So for that, if I am writing here the same line of code, okay, so why it's giving error? Because we already called this. Okay, let me comment this. And why it is not required here? Because we are, okay, public record expected after this document. What happened and why it's not working correctly on my machine? Okay, anyway, I will refresh my Eclipse tomorrow. It's not working. There is some issue with my Eclipse, I guess. Anyway, so these two things are clear to you, right? The same way, you are asking about the multiplication, right? So you want me to perform the multiplication, or you will do it by yourself?
I'll try by myself, Rakesh. If I didn't get, then we'll see in the
Okay,
next
yeah.
class.
Okay, sure. So now let's move to the array. Okay. Anything else which I forgot to cover?
Rakesh, a small doubt here.
Hmm.
This method, the main method, we are not having in the mathematics class, right?
Right.
So, uh, can we do like this Selenium practice method? Can we call into the mathematics? Why?
You are asking to call the public static this main method into this mathematics class, right?
Right. Vice versa. Vice versa. What we did is it's like opposite to that in the other file.
Ye- Yes, we can do that, but there is one limitation, that suppose if you want to use both the classes, Selenium practice and mathematics, you want to use these both classes in one of your projects. So this main method can be declared at only one place. It cannot be possible to declare the main method into different classes. So if it is a separate, then you can declare here. But if you are trying to merge all these two, so two main classes cannot be possible. You got my point? So if you are writing the main method in this mathematics class, then you definitely you need to remove it from here. Got
Okay,
it?
yeah, okay, got it.
Because why I'm saying that, if you put the main method in two different classes, and when you try to compile this, how this compiler will understand from which class it need to be compiled. So here the system will confuse. So you are talking about this class or this class. So that is the reason only one method, main method, is like allowed. Okay. Okay. Now let's
Got it.
move to the array. Okay. So let me create one more class here. Just creating one more class. Where is the class? And I'm just giving the name as array. And here I am creating public static void main. Why I am creating here, I will try to explain you. So inside this, so currently we don't have any link between this array example, mathematics or Selenium practice, right? So if I link with any of the class, then only one main method will allow. But if I am not linking these classes with anyone, you can write this here. So here I am just giving you one example of. So first you need to understand why we are using integer. So sorry, array, not integer. So it might be possible that, so previously we see that in one variable we are storing one value, right? For example, in integer a equal to I, we are storing like this way. But is it possible that we can store more than one values in one integer? Basically it's not one integer, but the declaration in a such a way that it will so looks like a one integer. So for example, if I want to store multiple values like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in one integer. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible using the array. So there is a difference between array and array list that I will come little bit later. So first I am explaining you array. So what is this array? So array can store more than one values in one integer. Okay. So for that, there is a one declaration line of code that you need to memorize, or you can remember this integer. So here I am talking about the integer, so that's the reason I am writing integer. And then this a square bracket, if you can see this square bracket, so this belongs to the array. Basically this is the symbol who is deciding that we are creating the array. And now once we are saying that it's a integer type array, we are declaring one variable. Whatever name you want to give, you can. I am just giving a double r array. Okay. And then here I am writing new integer. Okay. Why I am writing new integer? Basically integer is a one class which we are calling here and declaring initializing with the air variable. And here you can see that there is an error is showing. So in array there is a rule that you need to define the size of the array. For example, if you want to enter the 5 number, then definitely on the initializing you need to declare the number of array, size of the array. So if I am entering 5, it means the 5 variables I can store inside this. Okay. And one more important thing that you need to know, that arrays, when you are iterating array, it start with the 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. So if you are declaring the size of array as a 5, it means array will start with 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you can count, it's a 5 number. So If you are declaring 5, it means it will start from the 0 and goes till 4. Okay. Now, so currently we are just saying here that we have an array, integer array having the 5 values. Now what I will do, I am just adding the values of, I am just initializing 5 different values in a array. So how we can do that? Just simply we can say that add. So add is our variable where we are storing the number. So add, if I can say that where 0 equal to 1. Okay. In the same way, I am just declaring, oh, one, two, three, four, and 5. So here I am just giving number 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. So this is our array. So here I am just hard coding this value to explain you, but in the real time we are getting these values in some from some application or somewhere and storing in such a way. Okay. So for example, like here only you just understand whatever, like we have a 5 array, array 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this contains this number. And I want to print all these numbers. So how we can do that? So now here we need a for loop to print all these numbers. So here I am just writing for. So I am starting the for loop again with integer I equal to 0. Okay. And now I have to give the condition. So right now we know that the integer is 5, but might be in future we don't have any idea how much this size is. So for that, calculating the size. So if we have written, okay, let me write here, I is less than add dot length. So length is a keyword, length is a method, keyword, whatever you can say. This is used to calculate the size of the array. So it will return the size of the array, and then I'm just writing I plus plus. Okay. Now like this I'm writing 6, and here I am passing the air of I. Now let me explain this code. Why I have written array I here? Because first time the array value is 0, so it will pick this value and print the number. Second time array equal to 1, so array 1 I is equal to 1, so it will take the value of 3. When array equal to 2, I equal to 2, it will take 5. I equal to 4, then it will take 7 or something like that. Okay, so let me try to explore this. So here you can see that it's printing 13579. Okay, so now here we have given the integer size of 5. What will be happen if I can give the integer size as 6? So now, oh, sorry, I is less than 6. So if I am giving this thing, what will be happen? Any idea? It will give error. Let's see. See what it's saying. It's saying after printing all this thing, it's saying there is so definitely when we start with this exception thing, you will be able to understand why what is the meaning of this error here. But here you can see that index 5 out of bound for length 5. So we have declared the 6 values, however we have only 5, and we declared the array size is 5 and trying to print the 6 number. So that is the reason it's giving this error, that you declared the array size as 5 and you are trying to print the 6 number, so that is out of array. Abdul, is it clear to you or any doubt in this array? Because this is one of the main concept that you need to understand.
Mm, yeah, Rakesh, it is clear, but
Mhm.
can you just
I
repeat
know
from
that that is, yeah, yeah. Sorry.
repeat again the
Uh,
for loop concept over here, and again the nested for loop?
okay, for loop concept you want to understand, right?
Clear, but over here, how the array works?
Okay, so how here it's work. So here I have just given the hard coded value as 6 because I know that here I know that this array is declared as a size of 5, but here I am just hard coding that it will print the 6 number. Okay, or we can say that if I can write on the coding types of like a static, so air dot length. So if I am giving add dot length, so what it's calculating? It's calculating the length of the array as 5. And if I add one more, it will give 6, right? So this way also we can write, instead of hard coded the value as 6, I can write it in this way as well.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, got it.
Okay. So basically you need to memorize this length keyword because length is used to calculate the size of the array, and here you are using the length. When we move to the array list, this length will become size. And in array list, the like the difference between array and array list is, the major difference is like, in array you need to declare the array size in the start of your declaration of array. Okay, but in array list you don't need to like fix the array size. It can be 5, it can be 10, it can be 100. So it depend upon the runtime situation, the size will increase or decrease in array list. So this is the major difference between array and array list. Rest most of the things are almost same. Okay, only the syntax are little bit changing. I will come to that as well. Okay, so now I have given this example for a string. What if I want to be in example of a string? So for that what I will do, let me try to create one more array. So now I am creating the array of a string. Okay, there is one more way to declare the array that also I want to show you. So here we declare the array in this way, integer array equal to and all these things. We have one more option to declare the integer array, like, so here if I'm writing air, so here I'm writing air 1 equal to, in a curly bracket, if I pass the number 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So this is the another way to declare an array. You can declare it in this way or this way. Both are fine. So whatever number you declared, so basically it's defining the size. So now if you declare the array in this way, then how you would know that what is the size of this array? For that, this array dot length will work. So I'm just, let me control X. I'm writing a new code here. Second way of declaration, array. Declaration of array. Second way. Here we declared the array, and the same thing here I can write that for int j equal to 0, j is less than r1 dot length and j plus plus. So now here you can see that first it will print, when I run this script, first it will print 13579, and let me remove this plus 1, and second time it will print 24610. The only the difference between these two, the declaration way. So I just changed the declaration way of the array. Now if you can see that, So first five you can see that 13579 it's printed for the first array, and 2 4 6 8 10 is printed for the second array. So this is an example of integer array. Now I am giving you one more example of string array. So how we can do that? Example of string array. So for declaring the string array, we need to, okay, so here I am just saying string str. So this is the variable name. I can give any variable name, that will work absolutely fine. String array equal to, in a curly bracket, suppose I am writing Abdul Rakesh ABC, or if you want you can give some name, Ranjan and Rahul, something like that. Okay. So here I am declaring the four variables. Okay. Oh, one more thing. Why it's giving this error? Because we declare it as a string, but here we are not passing it as a string. So it string always goes with the double quotes. Okay, so this is my first string. This one is second, third, and now. Okay, what happened? Okay, here I have not declared the string array, so that is the reason it's giving. So if you are missing anything and if you mouse over, you will get some idea why it's giving the error. So here I am just created one variable with the string, but it's not array. For declaring the array, we always need to use the square bracket. Okay, so this square bracket basically symbol of the array. So now if I written in this way, now I want to print this for I, j, and now I am using k equal to 0, and k is less than str array dot length and I plus plus str array of I. What again is TRN? Oh, okay, so here it will come A, not I. Here also it will be K. Okay, so now after printing these two numbers, you can see this Abdul, Rakesh, Ranjan, and Rahul, something like that. See, so here we have seen the two example of integer array and string array. So it is completely clear to you, Abdul, or still if you have doubt, we can dig into it more.
No, Rakesh, it's clear. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So now, okay, let me check one more time if for loop is work. Okay, and here I'm writing, let me check if equal to not equal to this here. Here I'm saying if name equal to, yeah, okay, let me do one thing. I'm just trying to just do this conditional statement for loop so that you can understand it. What's here? Okay. Okay. It, it is not working. Why it's not working, I don't know. Change to 11th. No. Anyway, for this conditional if statement, I will show you tomorrow, not tomorrow, next week, because I need to clean up this Eclipse, I guess. It's not working here. Anyway, so this array and array list is clear now. Now, sorry, not array list. So now we are done with the array.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Only arrays are
and
done,
as
right?
yeah, so array is done. Array list, you just understand that there is a no limitation for this. I will show you the array list once we will start with the actual Selenium with the application. Okay, with like any website or something like that. Why I'm saying that? Because okay, array list, how we can create here, that I'm thinking, because in array list we need to capture something from the website, different website. Array list I will explain you most probably next week. So now let's move to the Selenium part. I think this is quite enough for the for loop thing. Okay, the
So,
Java
for
part.
instance, Rakesh, I would like to give some real-time instance where Abdul
Mhm.
can understand regarding array list. So,
Okay.
array is something which we are considering as a single type of objects, where array list will have number of list. For suppose, if you are holding any employees information, let us assume a array is having employee number, employee name, employee salary, the employee details, in the sense we are capturing some details of a single instance of a single person, then we probably go with the array. Like array can have a similar data type. Suppose we are capturing any employee name. If there is a single employee, so whatever example I took so far, employee name, employee designation, these are all string types where you will have a string variable like manager or employee name Abdul. Like this, we will have a names which are a string type. We can go with it. But whereas employee salary and employee ID, these are integers. So collection of similar types of data will go with the array. When we are collecting single type of data for one time, then we can have one array. But just in case if you want to consider two more people, like there is a xyz, where similarly you will get her designation and name of xyz, then we will go with the array list. List contains object of whole employee, like employee name, employee designation, it will be collect it will be collected together in the list. So okay, did you get some?
Yeah,
So
Jana. Yeah, got it.
did you understand what I'm trying to say? So
Yeah, yeah, I understood. Yeah.
okay, so give me a minute. Meanwhile, I'll give you a quick story, a clear understanding over the paint. I'll clearly make you understand. But let this selenium gets finished. While closing our class today, I will make you understand whatever Rakesh has told you, arrays, for loop, and everything how it works, with a clear identification. Like I meant to say, writing code in the application in the Java is good, where if you are going wrong, then the Java by itself will help you by throwing some error. But whereas if you are writing on the paper, you should be able to figure it out if somewhere some error is there or not. So logically, when we give any assignments to you, you try to put down in the paper, because whenever you go for an interview, they will ask you to write on the paper. So writing practicing is also very important. So for that, whatever I will try to explain will add some knowledge, will add you some more confidence on writing by yourself before going to the actual program. You will analyze, you will think over, and then you put some code on the Java, that is on the Eclipse. So let us have this Selenium, and before winding up, I'll show you what how all these things will work on internally in the system. Okay.
Okay, Anshul.
Okay, so now let's move to this Selenium. Basically, I'm just trying to start Selenium to today onwards. I can say that. So on the very high level, if you remember, on the first day, uh, we started with the Chrome driver or Edge driver. So we have written these three line of codes where we are declaring the setting up the exe file where it is, and then we are initializing the web driver, and then we are navigating to the URL. Right now, navigation of the URL, that's fine for me. For example, I navigated till here, so I'm just changing it to the google.com today. Google.com. Okay.
Rakesh, your screen, I'm just seeing that. Yeah, okay,
Mhm.
now it's fine. Yeah. No, no,
It's
it's fine.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now, if you can see that I change this URL to the google.com. So now, if I execute this, okay, let me comment this, or let me remove all this code so that you cannot be confused. Okay, so here you can see that we have a line of code where we are initializing the Chrome driver and navigating to the google.com. Okay, let me execute this once. So here you can see that it's opened a browser, Chrome browser, and navigated to the google.com, right? Now I want to enter something on the search box, and then I want to click on this Google search. For example, if I am writing testing here and clicking on the Google search, it will display the result of testing. But the first task is like how we can enter any text in this box. So for that, we need a locators. Locators is nothing but, you can see that this HTML presentation. So for seeing the HTML of this website, you need to press the F12, sorry, F12, and you need to open the developers tool for that. This screen you are seeing, this is called a developer tool. So here we have an option of element, console, and multiple things, but we are mostly focusing on element, and sometimes we are focusing on the console. That is not important, but element is important. Why? Because this element section is, if you can see all the HTMLs here, it's written for the complete page. So for example, if I want to see the locators elements for this edit box, so here we have a one symbol with the arrow. So when you click here, and if you move your cursor to the edit box and then you click on it, so in the below this element section, one HTML file is, one HTML line is highlighted. And if you move your cursor here on this highlighted one, you can see that this portion is also highlighting in your application. So if I move my cursor here, you can't see anything. But if I move my cursor here, you can see that this edit box is highlighting. And these are the attributes and values which are used for writing this text box. So this is done by the developers, not by us. But yeah, this will help us in identifying the location of the field which you want to perform action. Okay, so here locators are of different types, so that you need to understand. So like there is a locator called Selenium locators called ID, class name, link, partial link, and HTML. Sorry. XPath and CSS selector. So these are the different attributes we are using in a Selenium. So I will go by one so that you can understand. So here you can see that here we can see this ID. It might be possible if you I try to identify some other thing, this ID will not present. Let me try to show you if somewhere ID is not present. Okay, so if I am clicking on this online courses, okay, so here you can't see the ID. So if ID is not present, then we will go with the some other locators. So there are different type of locators: ID, class, XPath, CSS selector, link, partial link. So all are the different type of locators. So these all are used for identifying the location of your web page. So I will come through this also. Let's start one by one so that you can't confuse. So I let me start with this first one, edit. So here we can see that ID equal to input. So what we will do, I'm just copying this and I'm going back to the Eclipse. Here we need to write a line of code. Driver dot. So whenever you will start writing anything, we are starting with the driver because we declare this Chrome driver and storing in a driver. So basically, whenever you are interacting with the web page, driver is your mediator. So using this driver, Selenium can understand what exactly you are saying. So I'm just writing driver dot find element. Okay. So basically, I'm trying to find this element. Input ID equal to input. So that's the reason I have written find element. And how I want to find this element, so I told you that there is a multiple locators available like ID, class name, or something. So here I am writing by dot. So if you write, so I am just using driver to find element by ID. So here we have an option of ID. And what is the ID? So ID is input. So input I can provide in a double quotes. Okay. So what Selenium will do, it will find the input ID in this web page. And if there is more than one input ID, then it will return more than one result. But here we have only one. And how we can check this in the Chrome browser, that also I will show you. So by ID equal to input, and what action I want to perform, we want to write something. For example, we want to write a testing. So for writing testing, we need to send some text, right? So for that there is a keyword called send text. For writing anything, you need to use the keyword send keys. Okay, and here I am just writing testing. So now what it will do, it will try to find the attributes, locators and attributes is there. So it will try to find the inputs in a web page, and once it finds the input, it will type testing on that. So I will show you that. So first it will open a Chrome browser and then Google search, and now here it will type testing. Why it's not typing? So here we have some error. Let's see what's the error. Selenium Java driver. Okay, good driver. New instance. Find element using ID equal to input. This is fine. Okay, so it's saying no such element, unable to locate element. So whatever element I have given, it's saying that it's not able to find that element in the web page. Okay, so let's see how we can check these locators on a Chrome browser that I will show you. Okay, so I am using this ID, Control A, Control C. Let me try to do this. X and then Control T. Okay, so it's saying false. Now it's giving something else. Why it's giving something else? Something is wrong here. So now it's giving something else. Why it's giving something else? Hmm. Google.com, F12. I don't know why it's giving something else, but now it's giving name. ID is removed. However, it cannot be changed. I don't know why it's changing. Previously, I have written ID equal to input. Okay, let me try with this name. Name is input. Name is working. I will explain you how I have written this XPath. Let me try to run this and then we will get back to this again. So this is one of the important challenge you can say for writing the locators. So if you understand how to write the locators, trust me, Selenium is nothing. It's a very easy. So here you can see that I am able to write this testing. So now what happened, how I have written this. Okay, I'm just trying to find this. I don't want to go with the X path right now. So input class. Class is there. Name is there. ID is not there. Okay, by class if I can search. Class is also giving false. Here I can see the ID. Or let me take another website. Why I am just finding the ID, because I don't want you to confuse right now. This X path is a little bit tricky. So here we have a ID to search text box. Okay, so let me try to use this website, Maven.in. So now here I am just changing a Maven.in and here I am writing by ID and then I am passing the ID as, okay, and then I am typing testing here. So here what we are doing, we are navigating to the Amazon.in and then I just want to type something here. So for that I am just inspecting. So clicking on this arrow button, clicking here. So it's highlighting the HTML code tags in the developer tool. So here we can see that ID equal to tab search text box. So that I am just trying to write in our Eclipse code. And how we can check that this ID is correct or not? So for that we have a developer tool. So what you will do, if you can go on the console here, and we have a way to write a validate the XPath. So for that there is a command $x and inside bracket a single quotes, or sorry, in a double quotes you can write, and this will go on the single quote. Okay, or if already have a double quotes, then we can write in this way. Again it's saying false. Anyway, let me check why it's not working. So I'm just giving ID and here I'm trying to type the testing. Let me try to execute this if it is working or not. So here you can see that this ID is working perfectly. Okay, so Abdul, do you have any confusion on this? Then let me know.
No, Rakesh, I am clear as of now, but let me practice it so that I can get more idea. If I do, then only I get doubts.
Yeah. So because this locator thing, na, Abdul, like it's a very huge thing, and once we will start with XPath. So XPath is one of the important way to find the elements on a web page. XPath and CSS selector, but mostly we are using the XPath. So these IDs are also important because it's always a unique. ID always unique for the, so if you find anywhere ID, so believe me it will work 100% if you are using the ID. But sometimes the thing is like ID is not mentioned by the developer or some, so XPath is like one of the generic way to capture the elements on a web page. Okay, so yeah, you just try to practice all these things and then we will continue with the other locators on next weekend. And Archana,